online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, hello. It's the AFTERBUZZ TV I Am Cait after show. We're talking tonight about season 2, episode 2, called Woman of the Year, ? Woman of the Year. Quick yes or no, is she the Woman of the Year? Oh, the side eye says no. Let's do some quick intros and break it down. I'm Jeffery Masters. I tweet from Jeff Masters 1.
And I am Shar Jossell at Shar Says So.
Shar Says So. We have a lot to say. We're still on the bus in the show. We're in New Mexico this episode.
By the way, really quickly, that's Jossell with 2 S's and 2 L's. You guys are great.
Are we cool to continue on?
Yes, because last week they did 1 S.
Oh, okay.
So that really bothered me.
And I'm Jeff Masters.
Okay.
Okay, just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding with that at all. Let's get to the episode. They started out with, I thought, a really nice moment between Ella and Candace Kane, just like chatting in the back, just having girl talk. And I thought it was so nice because I just think about Ella, and she's 18, and what an amazing experience and education this is for her.
Yeah, it was definitely a bonding experience, you could see. And I do see the Natalie Portman in her. I agree with Candace. I couldn't quite put my finger on who she favored, but she does fit very Black Swan.
Yeah, she has that like Jewish look about her too. I just think though about like we're literally on the front lines of change regarding just transgender visibility and hopefully rights after that. And the people in this bus from like the Kate Bornstein and then Jennifer Finley Boylan's and Caitlyn Jenner, like these are the key players. And I think just for her to be here, like hearing these conversations is just incredible.
Yeah.
And I know that the show cannot be didactic at all times. Yeah. And so I think that the show does better for these kind of moments, like the Ella, Candace Kane moments, versus the like fluffy bunny moments.
Yeah. And I hated that. I'm sorry. I didn't like Fluffy Bunny.
And the Chandy on the horse.
Really showed Ella's age, just in case you forgot she was 18 with the Fluffy Bunny thing. But I actually enjoyed Shandy on the Horse.
Really?
I was cracking up. To me, that was one of the highlights. Because I feel like this episode was such a drag. And I know that's what a lot of you all complain about with this show, because they take the docuseries angle. So sometimes things may be a little slow. But Shandy on that horse was so funny to me. I loved it.
I just thought it like went on for too long, and I know
now
that
it did. I will agree with you with that. It went on for too long.
I don't know, and I know that they need like space out like a serious conversation with these funner moments, but I just kind of favor more of the Ella and Candace moments versus like, look, I'm on a horse, and you're like, okay, you're on the horse, it's funny, move on.
It seems like Shandy is being used as sort of like the comedic relief. This second, like last week we saw her get locked on the bus, and now she's like on the horse. Like,
I know.
Don't let them pimp you, sis.
I know, and I feel like Shandy also has a lot of really great points to make, and they're kind of just like said like they don't give her the screen time.
By the way, I need to shout her out. She follows me on Twitter. I returned the follow. So shout out to Shandy. I like her. She is one of my favorite characters on the show.
Okay, we got 1 for 2. I'll work on it for next week.
Right, follow Jeff too.
I think that the show like highlights the supporting cast members like one at a time. So I'm very much looking forward to them highlighting Shandy in that aspect.
Yes.
We need to talk about the serious moments though. The politics of it all came back again. When Caitlyn said that her mom called and said that she was voting for Trump, I thought that that was a joke that she was making to rally the girls up, but I think she was being serious.
What I'm going to say, and I was going to come to dear old Esther's defense at first, because when I first heard that, I was like, okay, well, this was filmed months ago. But when I sat back and really thought about it, Trump came out of the gate swinging, talking, disparaging about Mexicans and building borders and all of this. So it's like, I don't, like, I want to like Esther. I don't want to tear into an 89-year-old woman, but I do like her. Like, I liked her from last season because I felt like she really was accepting to Cait, which is very, very rare for people of particular ages. Like, they're kind of like, you know, but I guess she realized that she's in the sunset of her life, and what's the point of holding grudges and acting crazy. However,
against your famous daughter.
Against your famous daughter. However, that was just, I'm so done with Cait. Like, I'm going to hang in here for the season, but like I said, I was telling Jeff off camera, between the things that go down on the show and the things that pop up on my browser every week regarding Caitlyn Jenner, is putting more and more of a bad taste in my mouth with her. I want to have her in studio. But I do. I have so many questions.
I actually think you phrased it better off camera when we were talking earlier, because the way you said it to me was that every week you go in and you root for her, and every week you want to like be won over, and every week you're just knocked a little bit farther down.
Well, you know, it's not that I root for her; it's that I try to root for her.
Yeah. It's just like
I've kind of washed my hands of her as of right now. I don't know if I have any faith left in Caitlyn Jenner. By the way, congratulations! She just got named the spokesmodel for H&M Sport. So she keeps making a cute trans dollar, but I think at the end of the day, she is not here for the trans folks. She's here for Caitlyn.
It's just like the Tyra Banks moment of, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. We all are rooting for Caitlyn Jenner.
I need to redo that meme. I'm not going to say I'm rooting for her. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I try to root for her because, like I said, right now where I stand with this woman, between the politics and between her very problematic and, like I said last week, dangerous stances on things as it could potentially affect me, I can't root for someone like that. I can't root for someone who I don't feel is rooting for me. And I don't feel like she's rooting for me.
I think I root for her in the sense that, like, of the optimism of the possibilities that she could be as a role model and what she could achieve, and yet it's very little is happening.
Well, are you satisfied with what she's done thus far?
Immensely not satisfied. Okay. Also called unsatisfied. But no. I just think that she is in the position to create so much change, and she's just kind of uniquely oblivious at her position. I will say, though, to her defense, I think that she really got it when the girls had this discussion at the dinner after about the way she was communicating her points.
Because it was scary. I think my favorite person on this show is Jenny Boylan.
Really? Well, mine's Cait Bornstein.
I feel like I relate to Jenny. I feel like everything that Jenny says, whether it be confessional or in conversation, I just like want to throw something at in a good way. Like, yes, Jenny Boylan. She gets it. She fully gets it. So I'm glad that Caitlyn did acknowledge her extremely dismissive and pompous ways at the end when she said, you know, Bruce can come out type thing, which was dumb. Because that is you are very argumentative and dismissive, but I'm glad that she at least acknowledged it. Like, that's a step. That's a huge step for her, actually, because she acts like a spoiled brat.
I mean, Jennifer Finley Boylan just speaks so elegantly, and she's able to communicate herself so well, and she's so generous too with everyone. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so rare just to see, like, for lack of a better word, just like the grace that she has.
Yeah.
And she's talked a couple times about wanting to quit the show early on.
Oh, really?
And I'm so happy that she did not, because we need her on the show.
We do. She's like a voice of reason. Because, in fairness, every trans woman walks a different walk for the most part. And when Cait brought up her point, when her and Jenny were going at it on the bus.
Cait Bornstein.
Yes, Cait Bornstein. I'm sorry. Let me correct
myself. It's okay.
That I felt like what Jenny contributed, I agree with Jenny because I walk that same path. My womanhood overrides my transness. This is me. This isn't for every woman. And I don't live in this non-binary, not a man, not a woman, I'm a tranny type. Like, I couldn't wrap my brain around that. Like, I'm open to it. I'm open to hearing what Cait Bornstein had to say, but that's not me. So I feel like when Cait tells that side of her, she needs to emphasize that that's her, because I feel like oftentimes so many people are looking for this trans spokesperson for every trans person that they meet. Because then they come to, for example, she's going around saying, you know, I'm a tranny, I'm a tranny, I'm a tranny. And then someone could take that and come to a girl like Jenny Boylan and use that very triggering word for her.
Right.
And it's just like, there's no way to go about it. And I feel like the same can be said about gay men. I know some gay men who have no qualms with the F word, you know, the 6-letter derogatory word towards gay men. Some people try to flip that and turn that into a term of endearment. And then for other people, that is a very triggering, hurtful word. So even it can be said with the N word too. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think your point too, there's not any one way to be a trans person.
Yes.
And
there's no road, there's no blueprint to this.
Yeah. And I think because there's so few trans people in the media that those people then have a larger responsibility, unfortunately, because they're looked at as like not one of many examples, but they are the trans person.
Yes.
And look, well, if Kate Bornstein is okay with the word, then everyone is.
Exactly. But that happens, I know that happens a lot of time with Black people too. Like, especially when it's something like problematic or trolling, like when Stacey Dash may say something on Fox News, and then people take that as if she's the voice of Black Americans. Yeah. Well, Stacey Dash said she doesn't speak for me. So Kate Bornstein, in that instance, with the word tranny, and also with her saying that she doesn't identify as a woman, she identifies as a tranny, and living in this whole non-binary world, that is not a representation of me, because
right.
I am a woman. Yeah. And like I said, for my experience, my womanhood surpasses my transness, because that's just how I go about the world. That's how I navigate the world. And so I can't identify with that.
But I thought that she really communicated it well, Kate Bornstein, because I want to honor Jennifer Finley Boylan's experience. Mm-hmm. And she's this like PTSD around the word, which is super normal after what she's gone through. But I also felt for Kate Bornstein that she has fought so hard, and that is what she considers herself to be. Mm-hmm. And for her, it's a celebration. And I don't know what the right answer is, but whichever way you fall on the scale of like accepting the word or not, I think that for this to be a conversation on TV is incredible.
Yeah.
Just this discussion.
It really is. It really is. And it's important. It's necessary. I love that. Like I said, this show would not be what it is without these key characters. Yeah. And we needed a Jenny Boylan, and we needed that Kate Bornstein conversation, because it's so important. And I'm sure somewhere in America, it's a hot button topic right now regarding the T word in certain people's lives. So it's good to see. It's good when you have one stance and you get to hear an objectifying, like a rebuttal to that, something to challenge your thought process on a stance. I like things like that.
Yeah. So. And I like to, Kate Bornstein is a gender pioneer. She like more or less, I think, created gender studies with her Gender Outlaws book, etc. And she has a light-hearted approach to gender, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And she's writing another book right now. When I heard her speak in LA last year, that she said she's calling trans ! Just for the fun of it.
Okay.
So clearly, like, she means that in jest.
Yes.
But the fact that she's able to write that.
Yeah.
Side note, she said her publishers might make her change the name just because that is a little inciting.
I can imagine with a title like that.
But I say that just because we, like the queer community, which I put trans people in, is in need of lighthearted work about trans people. You know, we like.
What are you saying? Like things are too heavy all the time?
Yeah. Whenever we see like a feature film with a trans person, it's the Danish Girl, it's Boys Don't Cry, it's this or that, and to see
until you come across Her Story Show. I hope you guys check that out.
Yeah, the web series.
That's kind of lighthearted.
And then so it was like I was so excited to see Tangerine this year because
Tangerine
it was
good.
Very funny.
It was funny, but it was. I know, like that story is crazy. I know.
It's also like, yes, exactly. It's dealing with like a crazy serious issue,
really,
and a part, unfortunately, a common part of trans lives often, and the fact that they could deal with it in such a great way.
Yeah.
Same with the movie that came out last year, Boy Meets Girl. Or Girl Meets Boy. One of
never saw that.
It did like a little indie festival circuit.
Okay.
It was more or less a like coming of age romantic comedy, and yet the main girl was a trans girl.
Oh.
Just really nice. And
now that I will agree with, we need more like representation as far as like light.
Yeah, we don't always need to see a trans person getting beaten up.
Yeah.
Like
because that perpetuates a dangerous narrative too.
Yeah.
If you're constantly seeing certain images throughout the media, that can be you can take that in subliminally to your subconscious.
So I just think that to have this discussion on the T word on national television, I think I hope it's just going to be so productive. Mm-hmm. And I think it was handled amazingly.
Yeah.
Going back to the discussion of politics, though, when they had the dinner and they kind of were apologizing and passing the olive branch, as Kate Bornstein said, I thought that was the most redeemable part of the show for Caitlyn Jenner. You know, it's her show. We still need to like her. And that made me like her a little bit more just because I think she got it. I think she was able to like listen to them when they said the way you communicate your ideas is not productive at all.
But see, she listens at her own. My issue with her is that, yeah, she listened, which is good, but she listens when she feels like listening, and I don't like that. That's a very immature quality to me. Yeah. That's extremely immature.
What do you mean when she feels like it?
Because people have been saying this for the past 2 seasons about how she is so brash in her responses, and it's almost like she acts off of impulse without giving it any thought. And she's very stubborn, and she's very dismissive. We've been hearing it for the last 2 seasons, including when Chris came over and they had that conversation. So it's just, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
See, just looking at her face during that dinner, I saw a vulnerable side of Cait that I've not seen before.
Okay.
And I think it was hard to hear like 8 women that you respect so much telling you that being told that you scared somebody. Like, can you imagine?
You were barking at them, literally barking. It's
And I don't think that anyone, like you're saying that people have said this before. I think it's like people in the media, people like not telling it to her face.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't seen it being told to her face, but I feel like she's been told that before.
Yeah. And I hope that it sunk in this time. Like,
well, we'll see. We have a few more weeks, so we'll see.
I know, but we have to mention the amazing like performance, for lack of a better word, that Kate Bornstein gave, talking about when she came out to her mother.
Oh my! Now that was riveting.
Yeah.
To hear.
Also,
that was riveting.
She tours her one-woman show, and she's written about this a lot before. So like. So I feel like we were like giving like a preview into it, but amazing.
Yeah, it was good. I can imagine coming from a 2-parent household with both parents supporting me. I was never really, matter of fact, I wasn't at all told like, I'm not going to respect your decision. It wasn't an easy pill to swallow per se for my parents, but they never disrespected me. They never challenged me. And I honestly think it's because they saw it in me before I saw it in myself. They were just counting down or they didn't have a name for it. They didn't have the language for it, but they definitely saw it before I saw it. And they didn't challenge it. And I couldn't imagine being in her shoes. Every time I hear stories like that, like I do not take for granted that I have both of my parents supporting me, because I know that's so rare, especially when you're Black. It's very rare. It's very rare. So that's not something that I take for granted. So that story, when she shared that, I just was on the edge of my seat. I really felt for her in that moment.
Yeah. I think it's huge. How long ago was that for you?
3 years ago.
Okay. That's pretty recent.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago. I always say I came out twice. Once when I was 16 and once when I was 25.
Oh, don't age yourself. Shh, we're recording. We're recording.
Listen, I do not mind. I just turned 28 2 months ago. So.
I'm kidding.
I know I'll still look like this at 48, so I'm not tripping.
That's actually
true. I moisturize and drink water. And I have not upset the ancestors, so I keep my gift. I won't start looking like Raven or Stacey. So
Oh my God. All of that and Shandy follows you on Twitter. Shar, slow down. This is too much. So I just thought that at the dinner, the discussion of what does it mean to be a woman, where we got that performance from Kate B, it was like the gold of the show for me.
Yeah.
It showed me that Caitlyn has the chance to actually hear these incredible women and change, and it made me excited to we're gonna keep watching the show because we're covering it, but it made me a little bit more excited to do so, because I thought that the Caitlyn we saw last episode was a hard pill to swallow.
Combative.
Yeah. And I think that this Caitlyn is showing the cracks of I can't speak like I do when I say that only 0.8% of the population is trans, and so why should we care about their rights?
Yeah.
Why? Because no one else is. And if the trans person in power is not caring about trans rights, no one's going to care about trans rights. That's why.
No.
That's
why I think she's only out for her. I said it last week, and I think I'll continue to say it. Until Caitlyn Jenner gives me a reason to trust her, I just do not. And she is not a representation or a reflection of me in the least.
That's true. I don't know that I'm
in the least.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm able to say whether or not I trust or don't trust her, but I have not lost hope that she could still do great things for the trans community.
I'm literally this close to losing hope.
Really? The fact of her existence is going to do good things for the trans community.
Yeah, her visibility is great.
But why stop there? Those are things that are given.
That's what I'm saying. Why stop there?
I agree. And then
what about that account? Not to keep being in this woman's pockets, but there's so much that Caitlyn could be doing.
Yeah. And I don't want to compare two people's struggles. Caitlyn struggled a lot to get to where she was, to be able to come out at 65.
Yes.
And I firmly believe that she's only able to do that because of the work of people like Jennifer Finley Boylan and Kate Bornstein.
Yes, for the work of those before her. Absolutely.
Yeah. As Jennifer said in this episode, they fought really hard.
Yes.
Jennifer has been writing books about this, but they both been writing books about this. Jennifer was on Oprah a couple times talking about what it meant to be trans before people even knew what the word meant.
There were so many women before her, even going back to the Stonewall riots and Marsha P. Johnson, and Sylvia Rivera. There are so many people that came before her, and so it's like these people kind of paved the way to make it easier for you to live your authentic self, and you still choose to be an asshole. That's just, And
that's why it's so upsetting for these women to see. Because they were like, we fought the battle for you, and you can't even remember that.
And you don't acknowledge it. Acknowledgement is really, really big. Do you hear me, and are you going to acknowledge it? Okay. She doesn't do that.
To her credit, she acknowledged it by
dismissing it.
No, by giving Kate Bornstein the chance to put the sign on the door. Because that has been a big fight of Kate's for a while.
Yeah.
It's a small symbol of it, but it is a symbol that I think that she recognizes the power that she has and the fight that Kate had. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that I just think that this show is. We live in a big city. We live in the coast. You're trans. Yeah. There's a lot of this you already know, but I think about the people that don't know a single trans person in their life, or don't know that they know a trans person actually. And I think that this show is going to be more powerful for them than us.
Yeah, I look at who it's working for, but I also look at the cons of it too. There are pros and cons to this show, so it depends on how you approach it, and I guess where you live. What your experience is and how you approach the show, because it can be a little damaging. It can be a little discouraging.
I agree. And the longer we go in society, what am I trying to say? There are more trans people out there, and there's trans visibility will only increase beyond the scopes of Caitlyn Jenner and Laverne Cox, and so that gives me hope. I have said what I have to say. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
I really don't.
I think we covered it.
Yeah, this episode was, like I said, it was like a filler episode, and we literally talked about everything. Jenny and Cait, Kate's story, the fluffy bunny, Shandy on the horse. It really didn't have any talking points really this episode. I'm hoping for better next episode.
I think so. I think they're holding out the Hillary Clinton stuff for the final probably
even
episode.
With that, Caitlyn was in the media this week for saying that she thinks Trump would be like E! News. I did not know that it was going to be part of the show, but E! News ended up tweeting it, and I responded. If you follow me on Twitter, then you saw the GIF I responded with. So it's just like, I feel like Caitlyn trolls us on purpose. Like, I feel like at this point, she's just doing little things to keep her name mentioned, to keep her name in the blogosphere, because
she does have a reality TV experience, and she is an executive producer on this show.
Yes.
She knows what needs to happen and not happen to make a successful show.
And she wants to keep, and the ratings aren't doing that well. So if she keeps trolling us during the week, that's going to pique people's interest. So she's never off the brain, as people are constantly talking about her. So it's like, oh, I forgot I Am Cait is on, girl. Let me check that out on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. I have such mixed feelings about her. All right, where can the good people find you while we're not doing this show?
Okay, I'm at Shar Says So on everything. SharSaysSo.com included. So yeah, on everything. You can tweet me, Facebook.
Tell me one more time how to spell your last name.
JOSSELL.
Fantastic. And I tweet from Jeff Masters 1. Guys, we'll see you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.